Hey, you know what it is? This is Joker News here speaking. Let's jump right into it. So, Tupac predicted his death before becoming a movie star. Yes, an exclusive excerpt from a new biography of the rapper reveals how his powerful turn in 1992's Juice set him on a course for an acting career and gave audiences their first glimpse of his superstar charisma. Now, in early 1991, 20-year-old Tupac Shakur was torn between ambitions of acting and rapping and struggling to catch a break on both fronts. He had studied theater at the Baltimore School for the Arts and toured with the West Coast hip hop collective Digital Underground. But acting opportunities were scarce, and he had yet to finish the demo tape that would launch him to stardom. His luck would turn when Digital Underground's road manager, Sleuth, received a call from Kara Lewis, the group's booking agent at William Morris. Now, a film director named Ernest Dickerson was looking for actors for a movie called Juice, and they invited Money B, a fellow member of the collective, to audition. Now, Dickerson had earned acclaim for his work as Spike Lee's director of photography on a run of films, now including She's Gotta Have It, School Days, Do the Right Thing, More Better Blues, and Jungle Fever. Now, he was writing and directing his first feature film, a portrait of inner city life and coming of age drama about four teenage boys growing up in Harlem. You know, while Tupac and members from Digital Underground rolled through the streets of New York in a limousine, attending New York's new music seminar and doing various press junkets, Money B read through the script. He scanned the lines that were written for Steele, the part he was slated to audition for. But as he read, one of the other characters caught his attention. Money passed Tupac the script. Look at the character, Bishop. Now this dude is just like you. He told Tupac, you should just come to the audition and read for this other part here. And so that's what Tupac did. Tupac came through, he came at the audition, and then Tupac's friend Tretch from Naughty by Nature, whom he had just met on the road months before, had been recommended to the casting agents by Queen Latifah. Now, Queen Latifah, who would also be cast in the film the next day, Money and Tretch and Tupac strolled into the William Morris um, agency. Only Money and Tretch had an official audition. They sat patiently and waited alongside the actors, gathered to read for the various parts. In our minds, if it all worked out, I'd have been Steele. Now Tupac would have been Bishop, Money B recalled, and Tretch, would have been Q. We would have been real friends being friends in the movie, which would have been dope. Now Money B went in first and got a quick thanks but no thanks. Now Tretch auditioned next, and although he didn't snag one of the leads, he did end up cast in a smaller role. Now Dickerson then spotted Tupac in the waiting area and asked him if he wanted to audition. A few moments later, Tupac found himself in a room filled with casting agents and producers reading for the role of Q. He goes, "What's your name?" they asked him. He goes, "Tupac." And he goes, "Oh, that's an interesting name. What is that?" Tupac proudly explained that he was named after Tupac Amaru, now the last Sapa Inca of the Neo-Inca state. Now, the final remaining independent part of the Inca Empire. Now, as soon as he was finished reading for Q, Dickerson had an idea. "Can you stay longer? Can you read for this role?" Dickerson asked while handing him sides. Short snippets of dialogue to study. It was dialogue for Bishop, the character that had reminded Money of Tupac. Now Tupac nodded, glanced at the paper, and stepped outside to study for a bit. When he'd prepared himself, he went back in and stood in front of Dickerson and the rest of the filmmakers who held the fate of his dreams in their hands. I read. Cold Turkey walked in there, picked up the sides, and just read. He remembered later, and I got that part. That was God. Now Tupac goes in the room. Money remembered. All of a sudden you hear cheering and people standing up and whistling and everything. Dickerson and the others exchanged glances at Tupac as Tupac left the room. Now, they knew they'd found their Bishop. The thing that he got that nobody else got was the pain, Dickerson recalled. Now, producer David Heyman, who would go on to produce the Harry Potter films, was there and remembered that after the audition, Tupac walked out of the room and he stuck his head back in and with a little wink and a smile because he was mischievous, he says, "You better give me the part because I know where you all live." And then he shut the door and walked out. Now, the film's producers invited the four potential leads to dinner together to see if they had chemistry. Now, at the table with Tupac that evening were Jermaine Hopkins, who had appeared in the classic Lean on Me and was being considered for the role of Steel. Now, Omar Epps, a student of LaGuardia High School of Music and Performing Arts, who would be cast as a Q, and Collie Kane, who had been an extra in New Jack City and had auditioned for the role of Raheem by the end of the dinner. Now, the producers were sold on the four young men's rapper. It was the perfect combination. While Tupac waited for an official confirmation that he'd been cast in Juice, his manager, Latron Gregory, continued to circulate his demo to record labels in New York and in Los Angeles. As the list of rejections continued to grow, Antron received some hopeful news. Jeff Finster of Charisma Records was the only man in industry who got Tupac at that point. He said, but the hope was quickly dashed. Now, Finster could not convince Charisma's execs to make an offer. Now, amid these rejections, Ernest Dickerson came through with a resounding yes. Tupac had officially landed the role in Juice. In a full circle moment, Juice would shoot in his hometown of Harlem, just a short distance from the Apollo Theater, where 6 years earlier Tupac had gotten his first bite from the acting bug in A Raisin in the Sun, at a time when theater screens across the country were filling up with cinematic portrayals of life in the hood, especially that year as films such as New Jack City and Boys in the Hood opened the mammoth success. Now, Juice seemed poised to break out. Production began on March 14, 1991. Less than 2 weeks after, motorist Rodney King was beaten violently by four Los Angeles Police Department officers following a high-speed pursuit. Now, the being captured on video and repeated endlessly across all new platforms marked a watershed moment in race relations in America. Many black Americans were ready to revolt against the racist oppression behind this reprehensible act. Now, Tupac, angered as well and sick and tired of the police continuing to misuse their power, wanted nothing more than to see these officers charged, hoping the world would finally start to see some change, but things would get worse in Los Angeles before they got better. 2 days after filming started, black teenager Latasha Harlins, a Westchester High School student, was shot by a Korean grocer over a $1.79 bottle of orange juice. Now, Harlins had placed the bottle of juice in her backpack as she approached the register, $2 bills in her hand, with the intention to pay. The city was a powder keg ready to explode. Now, a coast away, Tupac settled in and prepared for his debut movie role. The film's producers rented him an apartment on the ninth floor of a building at 51st Street and 7th Avenue for the duration of the shoot. The pad soon became a hangout spot for some of his castmates, as well as a place to reconvene with friends he had met on his tour like Yo-Yo. And this is all some recent news, but I'm going to keep you guys updated with some more juicy news. Hit that like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys all think in the comments below. Keep staying tuned.